Looks like we might be having a bit of a dragon showdown here. For today's video, we're going to be revisiting the Cithria Matron combo, but we're going to be playing the Shyvana version. And the reason we're doing that is because we've already done the other champion skins on the channel. 2 days ago we did Zed, yesterday we did Yasuo and Riven in the same deck, but we haven't seen Shyvana, so we're going to show that off. Quick reminder, if you want to just jump to the games, you can go ahead and do so because I use time tags. If you're new, consider subscribing. And I'm going to be sharing the deck list, and we're going to be going through it here in just a moment, but deck code will be in the video description. Link to Mobalytics will be in the video description. And we're going to jump into the deck now. I will say up front, this is probably not as good as the Aurelion Sol version of Shyvana. However, it's a lot of fun, and you still get a powerful 10 drop. It's just not Aurelion Sol. And I wanted to do something a bit more fun like I've been doing the past couple of days. So right out of the gate, we have Dragon Chow because we want to feed our Shyvana, make her easy to level. Dragon Chow is actually kind of interesting in this list because you don't have traditionally as many dragons to feast on it. I say traditionally because my version runs Researcher, most don't, but Dragon Chow is neat because if you find it with Stalking Shadows, you can kind of turbocharge your Shyvana at times. You can just play the Chow in the same turn. Again, we're talking a little bit later, but there's some neat stuff that you can do with it. So we have Dragon Chow. We have Lieutenant to help us with the early game. We have Researcher to give us some early bodies for blocking. Researcher is also an okay body to use as fodder for Mask Mother because really you're just playing this to make the dragon in your hand. Usually it's because maybe you don't have Shyvana or a Screecher. Again, we don't have Eclipse Dragon or Aurelion Sol as extra triggers for Lieutenant, and so Researcher can work in your favor by creating that dragon in your hand, and then it's a turn late at that point, but you still get the Behold. But because you have this on the board, you can just eat it with Mask Mother. You don't really feel bad about it, and that's if you really need the Mask Mother. Obviously, the real combo is Mask Mother with the Scourge. We're still rocking that, but this exists. So Chow, Lieutenant, Researcher, Mask Mother, single combat because we like strikes, Stalking Shadows just to dig deeper, try to find our matrons, try to find our Cithria, Scourge for the Mask Mother, and just overall stall. 3 Protege, again trying to help us with that early game. We like having the units with Challenger just because they hopefully allow us to survive long enough to get our dragons up and running. Still running Strafing Strike, but unlike the other version of Cithria where you were running it just because it was a cheap strike, here we actually have dragons, so there's some actual practical uses for it. Shyvana, obviously what we're playing the deck for. Yes, it shows here, but again, like we've got the skin, it's on, it's turned on. 2 Radiant Guardian because if we don't find the Scourge Mask Mother combo, we still want ways to gain health. It's a hard world out there fighting against aggro. Screeching Dragon, and then our top end combo, Matron plus Cithria. So this is the list. As I said before, deck code will be in the video description. Link to Mobalytics in the video description. But we're gonna jump on the ladder, play some games, and see if we can have some fun along the way. Wow. I think this is Zombie Anivia. And I have to say, I'm a bit impressed because this is not a list that I have seen in quite some time. I'm not even sure I know what our matchup is like into this because it's been so long since I've played against it. But the good news is we have an early Shyvana. Look at that beautiful art. We have the Dragon Chow to maybe help us in that regard as well. Look at that Shyvana. I really love this though. This is key here. And by key, I mean key art. Let's go ahead and get the Lieutenant down now. You can always go Chow next round, but double Chow into your Shyvana is potentially really nice. Thankfully, our Chow have 3 health, so if they do have some sort of avalanche effect here, we should be fine. We'll play a Chow. If they pass again, we will take the pass. If they keep the full spell mana going into next round, we actually have to worry about Vengeance. We could legitimately play Shyvana and be stuck dealing with a vengeance. And it is something that is occurring, but we will go ahead and get Shyvana down because we like dragons. Yes, we do. We like dragons. How about you? And then you take that deep breath and pray. Nothing we can do about vengeance. The rest is manageable. Like they could have like a flash freeze, something to slow us down in that regard. I think here we take this challenge. And we do get to level Shyvana up then, because that strike will get it done. Only level up animation. Again, she's one of the skins that did not get a new one, but it doesn't matter. We leveled our dragon. We do have the Matron Cithria combo ready to go for when we hit round 8. The entreat means they have found Anivia, and so we're going to be worried on the next round. We're going to be a bit worried about Anivia into a gluttony. Interesting. Let's go ahead and get the Screecher down. They still do not have enough at 8 to Ruination quite yet, so we can get this down and go into an open attack here. We have all of our Mask Mothers. I would fully expect something along the lines of like a Harsh Winds here, but they could just take the damage. They're still at the full 20. So they have a Flash Freeze. Not quite a Harsh Winds. And a Catalyst. So even though they played the entreat, no Anivia that round. I don't really think that the lifesteal and tough is going to matter as much. And so I think we're just going to go ahead and get this down as well. If we can get a relatively full board and dodge Ruination, it's going to make our Cithria potentially a game winner. And I think here we want to take this Shadows. I guess a dragon is what we're going with. I guess a dragon is what we are going with. And I think for now we're going to use one Mask Mother here. We can still play a Screecher before we go into this next round as well. We're really worried about Ruination though, I'm not going to lie. I think we play this to set up the open attack. The greedy play would be to play the Cithria, but then we walk right into Ruination. Whereas if we attack here, we can at least threaten lethal, but you have to assume that they're going to have access to Harsh Winds or something, right? So that's the question, is how many Ruinations do you think they run? And do you think that they have hit it? I think that you have to just play it safe here. I think this is the play. And so they do have the Harsh Winds. It was an Anivia's Harsh Winds. And we're going to go ahead and let this go. They get the egg. We have our Strafing Strike here. They shuffled one Anivia back, so if we can kill this egg and they don't have another one, we might slow them down a little bit. Interesting. It's not like we have much to use these on, and denying the draws could be beneficial. So we're going to be bold. And I guess we're taking more Screechers. I was kind of hoping for Cithria or Matron, but Alas, beggars can't be choosers. Back up Shyvana in case anything goes wrong. They find their rekindler into Anivia. But now they are below Ruination, so now is when we take our opportunity to just go ahead and do this because it hits everything. And then we go into the open attack. And so we again expect things like harsh winds, but we're just trying to generate pressure here. So there is the entreat, which will find a harsh winds. So that Anivia goes back as well. We still get the 12 in. It's a shame we don't have any way to get additional buffs. But as long as we can continue doing this and keep them off of Ruination, we should be fine, because even with lots of Anivias on the board, we really don't have to worry about our units dying at this point, because we're in a post Cithria world. And we're also slowly but surely getting ourselves into a position where, so again here, they can't Ruination now, but they might be able to next round. So we save this. I don't think we play this until we either find another one or it's post Ruination, but we just want to get ourselves into a position where they have to always answer our full board. So here we just wait for them to go below 9 mana before we do anything. Because that is our best bet. So here now, again, they're below that threshold, so develop just one more unit to pull things away. And so they go with the Gluttony, and we will answer with a single combat, but they could have enough for a flash freeze here, and then at that point there's not much we can do, but that's one more down that we don't have to worry about. But we're just doing this so that it denies the Gluttony, so that they don't have to go into a Rekindler. And we get the surrender. So Cithria getting it done against zombie Anivia. Along with that, Shyvana level up. Everything you could ask for right in the first game. We're gonna go play another one though. It's a lot of fun, and see what we can do. Well, it looks like we might be having a bit of a dragon showdown here. We get the full mirrored board though. We have a 2, 3, 4. This isn't exactly the 2 we were hoping for, but it's a curve. There may even be an argument for tossing that back here. In this particular matchup, you know that you're not going to have as big of a need on 2. So they start with a Chow, which is great for them. They have a lieutenant, and so now we also have to make our own decision, which is, do we just trade lieutenants? Or do we play this researcher knowing that they're going to eat it? But that saves our lieutenant for next round so that we can try to eat this Chow. That is the question. We have Protege next turn, but that does not eat the Chow. I think we're going to go ahead and develop the researcher here, knowing that it's just deal 1 to this, draw a card. But I think that in an effort to try to eat this Chow, we're going to make this play. That's why I said the words in an effort. Apparently, sharp sight going to be our undoing. The Chow has its revenge. You have to assume Shyvana's coming down here. And that's unfortunate because while we have our own, theirs has quite the head start.
Fire and fury burn in me.
We cannot block it here. And we also don't have a screeching dragon or anything to serve as follow-up, so we're gonna slow play this, see if we can get them to spend some mana. Ideally, we'd like to get this down and then single combat here, but it actually looks like they are gonna shut that idea down. So we're just gonna go ahead and make them respond. Like, yes, we have our single combat, but maybe we get them to use one of theirs. No, they just straight up play the Screecher. Okay. We have to kill the Shyvana to prevent her from leveling. I'd love to take this out because they're going to eat our own Shyvana this next round and there's nothing we can do about it, but this is the only way we can keep this from leveling. Case to be made about maybe you attack with this, but then that means this trades with her next round, potentially. Like, they could block here, they both go down weak. Yeah, I actually think that might be correct here as well. So they can block here, but that would make this go down to 1 and then it wouldn't be able to trade back. So otherwise we just get the free damage in. We have 2 matrons now. There's still no Cithria. And again, unfortunately, we're just gonna lose our Shyvana, but we will get to play the Vox that we've created. We just want to develop big stuff on the offhand chance that we draw a Cithria before 8. The bigger the better to get maximum value.
One star's whoopsie is another spark.
And they go with the Moon Glow. I thought maybe they were trying to find like an Equinox for this. This does prevent us from things like single combat there, so I guess I understand that route. So we could play double Protege, or we could Stalking Shadows and maybe try to find a Screeching Dragon ourselves. But I think we're gonna go with the Protege. Proteges allow us to potentially eat these. Though I legitimately think we might just pass. Not only does this have spell shield, but they're sitting on this 8 mana, and you always have to consider that judgment is a possibility. So they might be waiting for me to send everything so they can hit us with that judgment. And we don't want to lose our board when we have matron turns potentially in the future. We do also have this Mind Splitter as a potential play as well. Now they are playing this, so they could actually just catch us with an Equinox here, but we'll find out. We will find out. Now, it's worth noting that when you choose your units with this, it does not go through spell shield. I guess what I should say is it doesn't trigger spell shield. It doesn't pop spell shield. That's a better way, I guess, to word it. I respect it. I respect it. And so that does get them up to single combat to get rid of this. So that Mind Splitter, I think, still did an awful lot of work for us, all things considered. We still do not have a Cithria, but we do have a Matron into a Matron. And actually, as I make this play, I realize it's a massive play mistake, because we could have Stalking Shadows and likely found ourselves a Cithria, but I'd kind of already decided mentally that this was the way that I wanted to go, because it means that these cannot be blocked. But this is potentially a massive misplay, because we could have pushed the exact same amount of damage unblocked via this still having fearsome, but alas, I got too excited. So we get some trades, we push them down. We also get less stats out of this as well if this does hit a Cithria. This was a huge misplay. Gang, if you are watching, do not do what I just did. All right, so they get a Celestial and a Dragon. Which is just overall no bueno for us. And they are bringing some heat. I think that we want this here. It's actually a very strong argument for leaving these, but if we're considering board space, we also still can generate like 2 more bodies, and then this will be 2 hopefully on the following round, so we can let 1 of these go. So this is fine, but I think you leave this here and block as is. I think this is the correct way to do this. So let's start with the shadows. So there's the Cithria that we should have had. And so we're gonna go ahead and I think still flood. We could actually go Matron on a Cithria and then just hard cast the Cithria next round. And I think that's also fine. Like, you lose this one, but we'll have hopefully enough fearsome massive units to navigate this. And so let's actually just go with the ephemeral one for now, because it just comes down to them having enough blockers to cover the fearsome units, because only one of these needs to connect right now and they don't have it. So that's it. You made it this far. Hopefully you had fun along the way. We did some powerful stuff. Thank you for watching. I love you. I appreciate you. And until next time, may you walk on warm sands.